Hello, everyone. Welcome to Core Talks. I'm Denise Posnack-Gaffney, founder of MyBOD Wellness, the online Pilates coaching service, live one-on-one Pilates coaching delivered straight to you via the internet. If you don't know anything about the company, please check us out. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me via Facebook or email. So I am here today. It is Tuesday, 7/11. And I know that this month, July, my focus for Core Talks is how to value enough in what you are doing with your body and what you are doing with your life. And before I came on to this live, I sat with myself for a second and I started writing in the topic for today, and I was not sure what the date was, so I went over, looked at the calendar, and I realized it was 7/11, which reminded me of my junior high jaunts with my friend Cara to 7-Eleven when we were allowed to walk around by ourselves, parent-free, and we would walk on through the California canyons over to the 7-Eleven and get all of this candy in the summer. And that was so much fun. So that prompted me to focus today's how to value enough core talk on diet. I don't love the word diet, but eating habits, eating period. So if you missed last week's core talk, or actually it was 2 weeks ago because last week was Independence Day, I focused on and I asked us to see where in our life are we not valuing what we're doing, where we're thinking this is not enough. It's not enough for me to only work out 10 minutes a day. It's not enough that I'm working 8 to 5. I need to work 8 to 8 and I need to put in hours on the weekends. It's not enough that I'm not a good enough mother, or I'm not a smart enough business owner, or whatever the enough is. And I asked you to check in and see where that's coming in, and then to create some affirmations, which I hope you did, and I hope you've been practicing those, some affirmations to approve of yourself. I'm doing my best job. Putting that in after every time you question whether or not it's enough. I approve of what I'm doing, period. And I've been playing with these affirmations the past 2 weeks, and it's been very, very helpful. So I hope that you've been able to play with that a little bit. And if you haven't, here I'm going to talk about, again, food today is a wonderful opportunity for you to apply. First of all, see where you're thinking that you're not doing enough, the right enough thing with your diet, and then start to give some self-approval to help you align with wellness. Because as I talked about 2 weeks ago, when we don't value that we're doing enough, we are creating a huge block between our ideal goals for our health and wellness and where we are now. So it's important that we value the tiny little steps, okay? So I'm going to talk about the Whole30 diet. If you have done this diet before, bravo, awesome. I'm gonna talk about this diet because it is an extreme sort of diet. There's a lot of limitations. There are a lot of rules. There's a lot of things you can't eat. And we all have been on that track where we have decided we're going to do an extreme diet, an extreme cleanse, I shouldn't say we all, but most of us have been there, and I have been there several times. So the Whole30 diet has just come back up in my life. A couple weeks ago, I was at the beach with some friends, and they decided that they were going to go on the Whole30. And so it came up, well, my husband and I have done a version of that diet before, and we decided, okay, we're going to be in there with you. But because of my experience with extreme diets, and I want to talk about that a little bit, my commitment to this diet was to do the partial 30 versus the whole 30. So the partial 30 for me is that I'm looking at the parts of the diet that are going to help me bring more nutrients into my daily food, that are going to help me have more energy, that are going to help me feel supported in my system without feeling depleted. But there are a few things that I want to keep in my diet that bring me pleasure, that are really just a part of my daily ritual, and that don't really bother me and don't trigger me in a negative way. So let's talk a little bit about my experience with extremes. So I have done juice cleanses. I have done other detox methods. I did the simple process cleanse, if you've ever done that. I did that before getting pregnant, and that actually was a very solid cleanse, and I didn't have a bad reaction to doing that. It was a short amount of time with a reintroduction of foods, and it was a very proper cleanse to stay 100% on. But my general experience with cleanses and extreme forms of change is that I have a real kickback period after, a real rebellion. And it's not necessarily mental and conscious, but my body really doesn't like an extreme situation. And I have learned over time that moderation is best. Of course, we all know that in our hearts, but we like the adrenalizing aspects of extremes. Moderation is best. And also, it's great to change things up in a concentrated way, but not to go to an edge that's not going to work or be sustainable for myself. So, the Whole30 diet. Let's talk about that diet. So the Whole30 diet is a no sugar, no dairy, no alcohol, no grains of any sort. Let's see, what are the other no's? I don't think there's any other no's other than those. So you can have healthy grass-fed meats. You can have all the vegetables you want in the world, of course. You can have fruits, not in excess, but you can have fruits. You can have certain types of nuts. Oh yes, so there's no peanuts, there's no soy, no preservatives. And essentially it takes out a lot of things. So for me, this type of diet is a great entryway into upping your nutrient value when you're in your daily life. And instead of grabbing that croissant for your snack, or that cookie at 4 o'clock, or that frappuccino at 4 o'clock, you're going to be eating cleaner, healthier, nutrient-rich foods, which are going to actually support your system instead of deplete you. So I did a version of this in January, and I found a real mental clarity, and that's what I'm looking for. But like I said, I don't do extremes. So this time around, I am valuing doing the Whole30 with a higher level of commitment than it's kind of my basic diet, Monday through Friday. So really cutting out the sugar. My priority is sugar, take that out. Then alcohol, though I don't drink that much anyway. I drink maybe a couple of drinks on the weekend if I'm in a social environment, so that's not a hard one for me. And my only dairy is my half and half of my coffee, and I try to cut the dairy out. But on the weekend, on a Saturday, I'm going to let myself eat what I want. I'm going to go to 7-Eleven if I want and get some Cheetos if I want, and then I'm going to clean it up on Sunday. And what I want to point out here is when you value the amount that you are able to do, your commitment level, if that's Monday through Friday, if that's Monday through Wednesday, if that's only on Mondays, and you start there, what ends up happening is that Saturday that you take off, which I take off on Saturday, I have the food. Last Saturday I made a batch of frosé, which was awesome. I had that. It was my sister's birthday, so we had like the most amazing cake, and I was not going to say no to that. Had the cake. I think I definitely had a burger, but with cheese, but I didn't have a bun because I didn't want a bun. And by Sunday, it was like I didn't want that stuff anymore. It was a natural choice. It did not feel limiting at all. So in terms of valuing enough in your food and how you're eating, give yourself a chance to set a goal. Maybe you do want to clean it up a little bit this summer. Of course, for bathing suit reasons, we all sort of want to go in that direction, but also just for simply energetic reasons. I talked about summer 3 weeks ago and how the craziness and like the non-structuredness of summer can really kind of throw us off and help us feel we might get a little down and have a little bit of a depletion because we're dehydrated, we're drinking more, we're partying more, we're not on a set schedule, we're not eating regularly, we might be more social, which means we might be eating more because you eat more when you're around other people, you drink more when you're in social environments, which is just sort of how it is. And so if this valuing enough concept is in tandem with having your goals and deciding that you're gonna, make an effort to stay a little more centered in how you're doing things. Give yourself a little bit of structure, and maybe that's a Monday through Thursday thing with your diet. And then let yourself off the hook and value the days that you did decide, I'm going to do this, and I set it up, and that was great. Good job. I ate the type of breakfast I really want to be eating. Good job. I chose to try my sandwich without the bread. That's what I want to do, and just keep that going. And then the other concept that comes into play is this idea of like how skinny you are, right? So we a lot of times are looking to our food and our diet, and we're directly relating it to our bodies and how skinny, are we skinny enough? And I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I had seen a friend of mine, I saw her legs and I thought, oh my God, she's so skinny. I need to be skinnier. And that was a moment where I stopped myself and I said, no, I'm thin enough, I'm toned enough, I'm enough of what I need to be. And to give yourself that approval. You are beautiful as you are. Of course, all of these things, we have to fill our brains with these thoughts. They're not going to go in there naturally. They just aren't. So when you're dealing with diet this summer, I just want to encourage you to, number one, look at your diet, whatever it is. Maybe you look at an extreme model and you decide, and this is a hard thing to do, you decide to say, I am going to do 50% of this model, and I am going to 100% approve of myself doing that limited, smaller version of it. That's a nice way to start. And then two, you're going to decide that what you are doing, you're going to value the things you are doing that you've accomplished. The part of your goal that you've accomplished. If you decided you're going to do 50% of the whole 30, great. Then you say, yep, that's what I'm doing, and you give yourself self-approval every day. I approve. Just say that, I approve. I approve of this meal I'm eating. And then letting yourself off the hook. If you decide you're letting yourself off the hook, approve of it. Good job. That's what we're doing today. We are 100% okay with eating cake and drinking frosé and having a frappuccino today. I approve, I approve, I approve. That's the part that's hard. It's hard to get to the I approve when you're deviating from what you think is your perfect path. But if you don't approve of the time off from your perfect ideal, you are only going to keep pulling yourself away, away, away from your health, and you are going to think, if it's never enough, why even try? And that's where we get stuck. If it's never enough, why even try? And that's where we limit ourselves from getting healthier, from feeling more aligned, feeling more connected. And I want to give one more little thought about, hey Kate, yay, Kate Corby. One more, I just lost the thought. So I was, I don't know where it went. Oh yes, one more little thought about something that a nutritionist friend of mine gave to me, Rebecca Van Dam. If you want to know about her, she's awesome. Out on the West Coast. Right after having my baby, I worked with her for a little bit, and one of the steps she gave me in terms of diet and eating and all of that, that was very helpful and sort of different from other nutritionists I've worked with. She asked me, how quickly are you eating your food? And for me, I inhale my food. If you're sitting down with me at a dinner table, there's 6 of us, 8 of us, 10 of us, 20 of us, I guarantee you I'm going to be the one that finishes quicker than anybody. I inhale my food. I don't chew my food. And so she asked me to slow down and chew my food. So in line with our summer, the mood of the summer, the calling of the summer is to slow down. Play with that with your eating as well. And if you slow down, you will feel whether or not the food is good for you. You will start to taste it. You'll have a sense. You'll have an opportunity to say yes to more or no. So that plays in line with enough. You will intuitively know if it's enough. If you've had enough, you're eating enough. So that, I'm going to stop there, wrap up today's core talk on diet and valuing enough in your diet. As with all of these talks, it would be awesome if you came to my site, www.mybod wellness.com. Sign up for our mailing list. I have a great opt-in right now. If you sign up for a mailing list, you get a 20-minute free live private Pilates session. If you've never done it before, you can't beat that. It's amazing. That opt-in is actually going away soon. So if you want that, do that now. Please share this with anybody that you feel would like it, would love it. It would work. If you'd share it on your page, that'd be awesome. And I will see you on Friday. Yeah. So have an awesome week. Enjoy your food. Enjoy whatever diet you choose. Value enough. Approve of what you're doing. And I will see you soon. Bye.